Hello, I'm Evan Brand, certified functional medicine practitioner and nutritional therapist, talking with you today about gluten cross-reactivity. Many of my clients are recommended to go on a gluten-free diet. We know that, based on my last video, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up here, but based on my last video, we discussed that gluten cranks up a protein called zonulin, which acts as an unzipper, which unzips the tight junctions in your gut, creating intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut. That condition can lead on to autoimmune disease because of what's called molecular mimicry, where the body thinks it's going after a bad guy, aka a gluten molecule, but in reality, it's going after your thyroid tissue, it's going after your joints in the case of rheumatoid arthritis. So autoimmunity can stem all from gluten. So this is why people go on a gluten-free diet. Now the problem is there's other foods very similar to gluten that can still create issues. So number one, you've got corn. A lot of people are doing like corn tortillas. A lot of people are doing corn-based cereal. You've got the blue corn chips that people are doing. That is cross-reactive. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Let's get through the list first. You've got rice, potato, talking white potato, not sweet potato, coffee, chocolate. Yes, I'm sorry, chocolate can be cross-reactive for gluten. Rice, I've already got that, but all gluten-free grains. So that could be anything from quinoa to buckwheat to amaranth to barley. All of these pseudo grains where people market it as gluten-free, it still contains very similar molecules. When you look at this diagram, what you're seeing is this is an antigen site. Think of this as the hole. Think of this as the lock, the hole in the lock. Think of gluten as the key. It fits this perfectly. Now, what you're seeing here, this is cross-reactivity. So this could be a corn or a rice or coffee or chocolate, some other type of dietary component that's not wheat. It fits the lock. It still fits the hole in the lock. It's not a perfect fit, but it's a close enough fit that it still triggers the same immune response. And this is what cross-reactivity is. This is when the body thinks it's getting gluten, which is this, but it's not. It's getting something so similar. Egg, milk, forgot to mention those. Same thing. It can trigger this receptor site. Now, what does that do? Well, it's the same thing. Cranks up zonulin, decreases IgA, lowers your ability to seal up your tight junctions. Those tight junctions get opened, then you get a leaky gut situation. So Cyrex Array number 4 is the test that I recommend and that you can run on yourself. If you have a functional medicine practitioner on your team, maybe they'll run that for you. But it's called Cyrex Labs Array number 4. That's going to test you for these plus more. I didn't even put the full list up here. There are other foods that can trigger a gluten response that are not gluten containing. And so Cyrex Array number 4, get that done. It's a blood test. It's quite expensive, but if you want the data, you want to see of this list, what am I reacting to? That's the test you want to get. If you don't want to get testing and you just want to guess, then I recommend you start with just an autoimmune paleo protocol. That's going to remove a lot of these things because we know for the potential of cross-reactivity, if we just put someone on an autoimmune diet, we're going to remove all these foods anyway, and then we have a reintroduction phase that I talk about with my clients and members where we start adding stuff back in. Stage 1, add this food in. Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4, and then when we go through what's called reintroduction, we can see, okay, look, when we added back in the eggs, the skin rash popped up. Or when we added back in the corn, we started getting headaches again. Or when we added back in the chocolate, we started getting anxiety. And we can track, and this is when a food journal can become very helpful because we can say, okay, on this day, chocolate was added back in. The next day, 24 hours later, the headaches returned, right? And that way you can track. So if you don't have the money or you're just unable to get a practitioner to run the comprehensive testing, go with the autoimmune template for 30 to 60 days, and then you start adding stuff back in according to a reintroduction protocol. There's reintroduction protocols online. Some people have different opinions of what you should add in first and second and third. Look around, do your research. I hope this helps. If you'd like to reach out, schedule a call, be happy to help you. You can just click on screen. Look forward to talking with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.